Namaste, good morning. Come up to standing, please. Palms in front, hug into Shri. It takes great determination to stay in the attitude of Shri. So what happens is we want to open, we want to have this greater perspective, and then fear comes in and closes it down. Related to the air element, I talked earlier about this idea of the karma mala, meaning over-identification with actions, so that if we or when we fail, it's not just failing so we can learn something. It feels like a death sentence. It feels like I failed. And so this idea of this over-identification, like my worth is in what I do, is challenging, because then we become workaholics, we overdo stuff. That's how we get our love. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's so much more. And then that can become an obstacle. So with great determination, we can overcome these tendencies to leak our power out by attaching it to what we do. Rather, we need to bring it in to what is your intention behind the action. That's what's so much more important. So we want to become overcomers rather than overachievers. So bring your palms together and with determination, hug in, lift your toes. And then inhale. If you're an overcomer, lift your arms up overhead. We want to overcome the challenges. Exhale, full. And breathe. Inhale, lift your heart forward. Exhale and bow. And repeat this several times as you contemplate how to release the fear that stops you. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're only responsible for the action, not the result. Do the act fully. It's called yoga, skill in action, but surrender the results. That means stay really connected to your intention and give yourself the space, give yourself the grace to mess up along the way. Failure, learn to fail or fail to learn. Exhale, downward dog. Alternately press one heel, bend the opposite knee. Deepen your breath. And how do we apply that to our asana? Well, pay attention to the alignment and the intention behind, not how stiff your body is. Bend both knees. Inner rotate your thighs. Lift your sitting bones up more. Try to get your low back to pull in. Low back curve in downward dog, so important. And it's a feature of tight hips, tight hamstrings. So we challenge them, and with determination you stay with it and breathe. Don't let yourself be deterred by the stiffness or by the challenge, because then what happens is, I'm too stiff. My body, I'm too old to do yoga, I'm too stiff, can't do it. I'd rather have you try and then modify, like bend your knees even more, and then deepen your breath and release the expectation that your body today is how it was 40 years ago. Okay, stop that. We embrace where the body is today, including its grace, its stiffness, its frailty, and its strength. Take the base of your shins back now and really work the base of your shins, but keep your knees bent. Base of the shins back. And then claw with determination, finger pads and roots, and pull up to your heart. Keep the arm bones lifted, determined. Be an overcomer, not an overachiever. Melt, soften the heart, surrender the result. Exhale, right leg forward, lunge. Come up, hands to hips, squeeze your legs toward the middle, and then stretch your arms up. enjoy the stretch. Take your left wrist, crescent arch to the right. Lift your left thigh a little bit higher, tailbone in. Inhale, right wrist to the left. Take your time. Hold and breathe. Every time you hold a pose, you increase your endurance. You start to build muscle mass, bone density. It gives our body the time to actually stretch safely. Inhale, come up. Exhale, float your arms down to the side and touch. Go back to downward dog pose and breathe. Exhale, left foot forward. Square your hips to the front. Hug in with determination to overcome fear. Hips square to the front. And then thighs back, tailbone in. These are all subtle techniques. Stretch your arms up. And from your pelvic core, push the right heel back, left shin forward. At the same time, actually do that. A lot of times, you'll hear the instructions and they just go zip right over your head. So notice what happens when you push your right heel back and the left shin forward. Something should change in your body, even if it's just very subtle. There you go. Air element is E4, it's the expand component. So from the core of your pelvis, remember your intention, and then radiate out in all directions. Take hold of your right wrist and crescent to the left. Breathe and hold. Move your right thigh back, left hip toward the floor more. Stretch. Come up, take your left wrist and crescent to the right and breathe. Please modify if you need to, like sometimes you just can't hold that long. For whatever reason, it's okay, come out. Get off the bus at your stop. Inhale and come up, ride the bus if you can the whole way. Exhale, sweep your arms back down to plank. Thighs back, tailbone in. Knees down, exhale, lower your chest all the way down. Point your toes, cobra up. Nice deep breath. And then exhale down. Salamander. Inhale up, first cobra. Look over your right shoulder, roll onto the left side of your hip. And then crawl your right knee forward. Push your left foot straight back. And see if you can surrender in the pose a little bit to lengthen your left rib cage toward the front of your mat, the short edge. And as your ribs go to the short edge, the front, your left foot goes to the back. And breathe. Good. Exhale down. This works quadricep, psoas, QL. Inhale, come up. Look over your left shoulder, roll onto your right hip. Crawl your left knee forward and push your right foot back, right ribs forward. Breathe. Surrender more. Hug in with determination to overcome the fear, to not let fear control us. And to release attachment to our identification, to our doing. We want to connect with our being first. Doing is important. It's not everything. Exhale, release. Arms by your sides now, just rest. Let your belly spread out on the floor. And then place your hands under your shoulders. Come up into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up high. Hold, lift the inner right thigh, tailbone in. And then exhale, lunge. Come up, right forearm on your thigh. Square your left foot for Hanumanasana. And check out your right knee so it's directly vertical over your ankle. Left foot square, not turned in. Make sure you've got enough distance between your legs. If you're not really getting a stretch, then widen a bit. But you should be able to produce a stretch in this variation. Hug in with determination, muscles to bones, then thighs back. Tailbone in, lift your heart to the sky, and from the pelvic core, root your feet. And from the pelvis, stretch all the way up and out, left arm over your ear. And let yourself just tune into the shape of this pose and be there. Remember, the core of the body goes back, like the groins go back, and the armpit, groins of the heart, go back. And then to do that, you engage the back body. Pull your tailbone in, pull your shoulder blades in. And with great determination, we choose never to give up. Root your feet down, inhale, warrior two. And that is Shri, this determination to look for the good in the midst of darkness. Look out over your right fingers. Look with the eyes of the Shri warrior. See goodness everywhere. And then it is to transform pain and suffering into beauty. Go into reverse warrior two. In the myth of the churning of the ocean, remember? They have to call Shiva to come and drink the poison that's coming out of the ocean. And he comes and he holds it in his throat. It turns a radiant, beautiful color, blue. He transforms the shadow into light. In many ways, that's our work too, and that takes determination, not to give up. Come back to warrior two, stretch your right leg straight, hinge from the right hip, stretch, pull your kneecaps up with great determination, and then left hand to your hip, bring your right hand out to the side, out in front, onto a block or eagle talons. Thighs back, tailbone in. Once you get your thighs back, you'll release the pressure in your back. Once you have that, then bring your right hand to the outside of the right ankle. Stretch your left arm up. And then grow your pose. From your pelvis, grow your legs. From your pelvis, grow your spine, your neck, your head. And then take your left shoulder back more. To align more with Shri, bring your left hand out to the side parallel to the floor and then pull the armpit back. So the core goes back, the armpit always goes back. Left arm over your ear, stretch more. Exhale, touch the floor, come into Hanumanasana, so you step your back foot in a little bit, shorter stance, but turn your back foot in to a big angle of 60 to 80 degrees and squeeze your legs toward the middle. Left hip forward first, right hip forward. Right hip back, sorry. And bow. And we'll just work the IT band a bit more. So turn your back foot into crazy Hanumanasana. So left foot turns all the way to the right. You're on the little toe edge of your foot and you pull it forward, scissor it forward towards the front leg. But the right foot pulls back. And just try to squeeze your feet toward each other. That really activates. Tremendous stretch in the right leg. Exhale, go back to downward dog pose, breathe. Determination through fingers, armpits, thighs back, bend your knees. Left leg up, Hold for a moment. This just in and of itself is a great stretch. Try to bring your right heel closer to the floor. Left leg high. And then exhale. Lunge, Parsva Konasana. Form on your thigh. Square your right foot. Check the distance between your feet. Maybe you can go a little more. Once you feel the stretch, hug in. Then thighs back. Tailbone in. Right arm up and over. Breathe. With determination, we learn how to hold both grief and love, success and failure. We stop identifying ourselves with our failures, with our imperfections. I did that for most of my life. I identified with it. That led to a feeling of unworthiness, and at the base and root of all that is shame. And the base of that, self-hatred. It's something we learn. So we turn it all around. We transform that into self-esteem, self-acceptance, self-love. Inhale, come up to warrior two. Look for the good out over the left fingers. Again, thighs back, tailbone in. It's a little bit harder in warrior two because we want the center of the knee to stay lined up with toe 2 and 3. So adjust that and keep it there while you take your thighs back. Pull your tailbone in more. And then crescent, reverse warrior two. And then inhale to warrior two. And then left leg straight. With determination, pull the kneecaps up. You have to stay present with that. As you hinge from your left hip, right hand to the right hip, and then lean forward, come out to the side, thighs back, tail in, and then place your left hand down, eagle talons, or on a block outside of the ankle. Right arm up. Bring your right arm parallel to the floor, but pull your armpit back. And then up. Lift your heart. Now, shine out and expand from the pelvic core. Air element likes to go from point A to point B. So from the pelvis to the feet, push. Grow the bones of your legs. From your pelvis out through your spine, grow. Through your neck and head, through your fingers. And then stretch your right arm over your ear. Exhale, Parsvottanasana. Step your back foot in a little bit, and now you're more like heel to heel with your alignment, and then squeeze your legs with determination. Become an overcomer, not an overachiever. Right hip forward, left hip back, bow. Take it to the next level. Turn your back foot all the way in. Right foot turns to the left. Come onto the little toe blade of your foot and sweep the back foot isometrically forward, front foot back. Big, huge stretch. Awesome. Go back to plank. Exhale, hold chaturanga. Keep the head of your arm bones only as high as the elbows, not lower than thighs back, tailbone in. Continue to hold. Pull your belly in, belly back. Puff the kidney band up more. And now exhale down. Clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale, everything off the floor. Come up. With determination, move the head of your arm bones back, but release the result. Melt the upper back, soften the heart as you act. Be more fully in the action itself, not the result. And then exhale, release, rest. Come up onto all fours. I think we care about results, but to over-identify with the results is what I'm talking about. Over-identification, meaning that if the result doesn't go your way, you're totally bent out of shape to the extent that you undervalue yourself. You can't see your worth because you're stuck in the failure, and the failure means you're bad. So we want to release that, go to downward dog, and then lunge your right foot to the left of center between your hands and come into wide shin pigeon pose. Left knee down on the floor, right knee moves toward the floor. Flex your right foot, press the little toe edge of your right foot down, and then inner rotate your thighs. Try to bring your right hip to the floor before your right knee goes to the floor. Keep your left toes curled under and pull up from the little toe to the outer heel to secure determination of the shin. We want the shin to be unmovable, and against that support, widen your left thigh. So left shin strong, left thigh wide. And then put your left hand in the sole of your right foot and push your foot to hand. And then push your sitting bones apart. Tailbone in, fold forward. And suffer in Shri, meaning find a way to breathe into it, be with it. You might not like it so much, and you may actually transform that pain into a hurt that hurts good. It's called stretch. That's yoga. But you want to feel stretch in the right places. So in the sort of the belly of the right hip. Release. Come back into downward dog. Stretch both thighs back. And then left foot to the right of center. Left knee toward the floor. Try to get your left hip down first. How do you do that? You inner rotate your thighs. Lean your torso a little bit to your right. Good. Then right hand to the sole of the left foot and push. Focus on your back leg. Curl your right toes under and pull up. That's the little toe is the earth toe. So you pull up on the earth side of your foot. Little toe to outer heel. Look back, should be perpendicular. Okay, so with determination, that's unmoving, unwavering determination. Keep your right shin steady. And then widen your right hip and your right thigh out to the right. Push your left hip to the left. Then tail in, fold forward. Foot to hand, hand to foot. There's so much to think about in this pose. Focus on the action, but not the result. And breathe, that helps. Great. Go back to downward dog. Bend your knees. Sit back on your heels for a moment. And we're gonna get our hamstrings stretched out and then move towards Hanumanasana. So don't freak out about the result, but enjoy the process. So sequencing is really important. So come into seated angle like this, elevate your hips as needed, and manually roll your thigh bones in and really pull like underneath, get the hamstring, just grab the hamstring muscle and widen it.
The hamstrings have an external weave that's natural. And when you do this and rotate your thighs, you are widening the hamstring fibers, which is what they need to stretch. A lot of times they won't stretch out and they won't stay because you're just stretching the muscle. You're not aligning with anything. Place your hands behind, create a low back curve, hollow your groins, and then flex your feet and squeeze your ankles toward the middle, squeeze your knees in, squeeze with determination. Practice determination to walk in the path of your heart, path of Shri, amidst challenges, fears, amidst trying to overachieve, over-identification with our actions, being the performer, to get our self-worth. Okay, now start to lean forward. You're going to increase the stretch. Tailbone stays in, hands in front now, ego talons. Try not to round your shoulders like this, but lift your side ribs, shoulders back, and then lift your heart forward, not down, but forward. Hollow your groins back. That's the key. For those of you with a little more flexibility, you can hold your toes. Some of you may even be able to touch the floor with your chest. That's fine. And just being right where you are is also perfect. Inhale, come up. Hold underneath your knees, bend your knees. We're going to skip Baddha Konasana in favor of doing one-leg dog at the wall. Okay, so find a wall. Bring your feet to the wall, tabletop. Heart soft, release results, head of the arm bones back. Then go to downward dog and take your right leg all the way up the wall, toes curled under. This is the basic position. To get a deeper stretch, inner rotate your right thigh. Take the outer left hip crease back toward the wall, and then bring your chest towards your thigh. And you can actually walk your hands in even just an inch. And continue to push left leg toward the wall. Right leg inner rotates, left leg outer rotates more. When you find the balance, the place in the middle where determination meets surrender, your heart opens. You recognize your true nature, which is Shri, which is joy, which is goodness. Exhale down, rest. If that is too intense, you just move away from the wall a little bit, but whichever degree you go into, this is one of the best hamstring stretches. I don't teach it enough. It's really great, and it is the precursor to Hanumanasana. So come on up, left leg up. Curl your toes under. Bow, heart toward the right leg, and then walk your hands in. Walk your left toes up the wall more. And then start to inner rotate your left thigh. That's the key. And take the outer right hip crease back toward the wall. Take your thighs back. Pull your tailbone in. Go to a deeper stretch if you can. Just walk your hands in more. And breathe. Exhale down. Okay, find yourself at least 2 blocks. You might need 3. You might need a bolster. And for the serious cases, a hydraulic lift. I don't happen to have my hydraulic geared up today, but that works. Okay. Start with your right leg forward in lunge, and then straighten the right leg, so it's like runner stretch with your heel. Bring your hands to the blocks. I like holding the the spine of the block, the long edge, but you can do either way. And then bring your heel forward, hopefully off the mat, and you can put something slippery under it, like a washcloth or your shirt, so that your right leg slides forward. And then left toes curled under, move your left knee back just a hair. Okay, and come to your comfortable maximum right now without pushing it. This is like 3/4 Hanuman. And if this is your max, you're gonna hold it. But with determination, squeeze your legs towards each other. I don't want you to just hang out in Hanuman. Activate. When you engage those muscles, that's what's gonna allow them to open. So hug in, hug your shins to the middle, but now widen your thighs, just like we did in pigeon pose. And then lean your torso over to the left. You can walk your hands on blocks over to the left and lean. Stick your right hip out. That's going to free up the hamstrings. Good. Come back to center. And lean your torso to the right, but widen your left thigh to the left. Maybe nothing will move, but I want you to feel the action created. Widen your left thigh left. There. And see if you can go a little deeper. And here's where we want to support the right sitting bone. So you take the block on whatever level you need. I need to go way up on the block so that you can rest your hip on something. And if you need 2 blocks, then get 2 blocks. Okay, continue to squeeze in. And once you've got the support there, pose becomes a little bit more manageable. Stretch your right arm up if you can. Then put your right hand on the block, stretch your left arm up. And if you can balance, maybe both arms go. And then from your pelvis, root straight down into the block, out through your feet, and from your pelvis, rise up. This is really the victory pose. To be an overcomer, here we are. Awesome. Okay, carefully release. And lunge your left foot forward. Walk your right knee back a bit. And then get yourself close enough to the edge of your mat that you can slide off of it where it's slippery. And glide your left heel forward. No need to strain, but hug your legs to the middle. And then, can you move your right knee back an inch? Right, once you reach your max, like comfortable maximum, hold there and breathe. And then do all the actions. Open to the bigger energy. That's the first essential, always, the breath. And then with determination, scissor your legs toward the middle. Determination is needed to overcome obstacles and challenges. Absolutely. No great accomplishment ever happens without determination. And, failure after failure after failure until you succeed. See, you just don't give up. Then thighs back, tail in. From your pelvis, push through your legs. From the pelvis, rise up. And then walk your hands over to the right. Lean right and widen the left thigh to the left. That's going to give your hamstring a slightly different angle. They like this. And then bring your hands back to center, lean left, but widen your right thigh to the right. And breathe. Awesome. Come back to center. Support your hip. Move the block underneath the sitting bone. And both sides are different. Right and left are really different. I have so much more openness on my left side. So I have the block in there, but on the spine, not on the short end. So see what you need on this side. In fact, I can go down one more. Remember, we're not attaching to the result. So just stay with your intention. And then if you can get one arm off the floor, rise up. And then switch them. It's easier. One arm is always easier than both. And then if you feel the support of your hips, maybe both arms can go up. It's not so easy. Breathe. Exhale, release, celebrate your success at whatever stage you did this, and go back to child's pose.
Big toes touch.
Knees a little wider. We did all of that work just for child's pose. Of all the practices, surrender is the highest.
Well done.
Okay, keep the blocks handy. Come onto your back. And we'll go into Shavasana. What I'd like you to try is you can either just cross your legs or go into bound angle, soles of the feet together, and then prop up your knees. So your knees get to relax into support. Okay, then lengthen your side ribs, bend your elbows by your sides, and get your shoulders, head of the arm bones to root. Just scoop your shoulder blades under you. Arms by your sides, palms up. Draw your tailbone in just ever so slightly. Make sure you have enough support for your knees. You should not be having a huge stretch in the inner thighs right now, just a little. More so, it's just support. Now with every exhalation, practice surrender. Release any attachment to the results. We care about the results, but are we identified with them? So release the attachment, the identification with it. We come to a place of greater connection to ourselves, and then receive and celebrate the result. Rest for a few minutes right here. gentle stretch, and a little to your right. Come on up to a seated position. And then sit tall, align your body, close your eyes, and as you breathe, let yourself be surrounded by Shri, like a downpouring of light all around you. Let it flow on the outside of you and let it flow on the inside of you. Just take this moment to fully receive the depth of grace that you have opened through meditation, through asana, breath work, mantra. And allow yourself to more completely come home to your heart, where you connect with your deeper intention behind the doing. You will have a full day of doing, but today may you try doing from being, and not be so bent out of shape with the result, so hyper focused on the result. We can do that, and then we ignore the needs of our own body. We have to close a part of our heart to produce the result. That's usually beyond what we can do. And so we use determination to stay connected to the heart even as we get things done. To shift from being an overachiever to being an overcomer and not let fear stop us. I want to finish with a beautiful poem from Dana Falls in her book, Prayers to the Infinite. The ordinary and the unified field don't just coexist. They coincide in the same place at the same time. Divine and human can't be teased apart. There is no separate thread to pull heart from mind or soul. There's only the unbroken chain of wholeness, forged link by link in a continuum. What is sacred and awake is inextricably braided into the everyday, but we forget that we can't dissect the mundane from the radiant. We lose ourselves in the rush to get things done. Our memory grows dim and there is such longing. We desperately seek something, anything, to plug us back into what we've always been, forgetting that disconnect is only an illusion, easily erased in the choice to see the truth of Shri. Bring your palms together now in front of your heart. With the choice for Shri, let's take in a deep breath and chant Om. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.